Recently, there has been talks about Indalo's cover of Nei Proyojon by Warfaze. অনেকে এটা অ্যাপ্রুভ করেছেন আর অনেকে অ্যাপ্রুভ করেননি, including the composer of the song. So here's us from Deeztopia analyzing what covers are and how far should we go in covers. So, what are covers? Covers have been around for as long as music itself has been around. বিভিন্ন সময়, বিভিন্ন জায়গায়, বিভিন্ন নামে, and একটু different set of rules এ ব্যাপারটা present ছিল, but nonetheless always present. আমাদের দেশে রোমান্টিক এর রুলসগুলো মোর প্রমিনেন্ট ছিল, which is একজন যেভাবে কম্পোজ করে যেতেন মোস্টলি উভয়ই পারফর্ম করতে হতো। পারফর্মার নিজের ইন্টারপ্রিটেশন অ্যাড করার জন্য হিয়ার অ্যান্ড দেয়ার মাইনর চেঞ্জেস করতো, বাট এনি মেজর ডিভিয়েশন ওয়ার সিন এজ স্যাক্রিলেজিয়াস। অ্যান্ড এই নোশনটা অনেক দিন ধরে চলে আসছে, বাট আমরা যদি বর্তমানের দিকে তাকাই তাহলে দেখি ব্যাপারটা একটু ডিফারেন্ট। So that begs to ask, how did we get here? Well, the beginning is a bit tricky. Zinga, the first pop music group of Bangladesh, used accordion, drums, guitar, grand piano to modernize traditional Bangla tunes. Bangladesh স্বাধীনতার পর আসে underground peace lovers, used to cover Santana, Deep Purple and the Beatles. Soon came Lightnings, Windy Side of Care and many others. Uchcharon sang music of the people. Frontman Azam Khan Western music influenced him and used to make up songs as he toured the nation. Later that year, formed by Souls, and the Super Souls album দিয়ে made Western music mainstream in Bangladesh. Then came a band who gave two legends to Bangladesh, namely James and Ayub Bachchu. With influences of Dire Straits and Pink Floyd, they enriched the Bangla rock scene forever. Tarporei formed by Feedback, and they stabled Bangla rock as a mainstream genre with songs like Malay Jaire and Moshumi. Miles, with their Guns N' Roses cover with hard rock influences, gave new dimensions to Bangla rock. Then came 80s, যেখানে bands like Warfaze and Rockstrata তাদের Iron Maiden, Deep Purple-like bands cover দিয়ে established heavy metal as a genre here. Finally, in the 90s came bands like Cryptic Fate and Artcell, who would cover bands like Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. But Artcell made a cover in 2009 that changed things forever. কান্ডারি হুঁশিয়ার কাজী নজরুলের বিখ্যাত বিদ্রোহের গান আর হেভি মেটাল ওয়েস্টার্ন। এর আগে তখনও এরকম ফিউশন অফ বোথ ওয়ার্ল্ডস দেখা যায় না। It is as if Kandari Hushir was reborn for this generation, and যদি এই এরাতে লেখা হতো তাহলে এরকমই হতো। It had respawned interest in songs that were only cultivated in educational institutions. The young generation had started to sing in chorus and in loaded auditoriums. এইভাবে একটা জেনারেশন ফর্ম হয় যেটা ওয়েস্টার্ন ইনফ্লুয়েন্সেসের গান শুনে বড় হয়। Mind you, covers were very common in the western front. কোনো বড় আর্টিস্ট covering songs of another big artist were pretty common, যেমন Jimi Hendrix performing All Along the Watchtower of Dylan, or turning Sweet Dreams of Annie Lennox and Eurythmics, which sounds like this, to Marilyn Manson's dark and gritty version, which sounds like this. আস্তে আস্তে পুরান যুগের গান নতুনভাবে অ্যারেঞ্জ করে গাওয়া became pretty common in our country, like the West. But the second breaking point came when Arnab performed Majhe Majhe by Rabindranath Tagore. এই কভারগুলো laid the platform for more covers to come and more creative diversity. So এইভাবে কভার করা নর্ম হয়ে যায় এখানে। But that leads to the second question. যেহেতু এগুলো এত ডিফারেন্ট, এই গানগুলো কি আদৌ কভার নাকি গানের বিকৃতি? The short answer is no. The long answer is, well, to answer this question, আমাদের first বুঝতে হবে what good covers are and how did they start. So let's look at some examples. So to start, আমরা first যে example দেখতে পাই যেখানে একটা ক্লাসিক্যাল পিস ওই এরার সাউন্ডে কনভার্ট করা হয়েছে would be Django and Stephen Grappelli doing their own interpretations of Bach's concerto. আমরা লেনিকেও দেখতে পাই নিজের স্টাইল অ্যান্ড ইন্টারপ্রিটেশনে Bach's Baroque perform করতে। A few decades later, we see Jimi Hendrix performing All Along the Watchtower, a Dylan original which sounds like this. তারপর দেখি Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah, which was originally sang and composed by Leonard Cohen. These are all examples of some career-defining covers, and they are very different from their original counterpart. Bob Dylan said, "I like Jimi Hendrix's record of this, and ever since he died, I have been doing it that way. Strange how when I sing it, I always feel it's a tribute to him in some kind of way." That just goes to show how Hendrix reimagined the whole song and made the original artist feel like he was doing his own song's cover. Rearranging Hallelujah gave new life and popularity to Cohen's original song as well. One common thing with all these covers is that they're almost completely different from the original, and that makes it so much better. These are great because all these artists গানটাকে একইভাবে না গেয়ে put themselves into the song. As a listener, if you perform it like the original, you might get bored as it sounds the same. Looking for new things makes a cover special, a footprint of the artist performing. Django's The Lenny's cover is also that. পুরান গানগুলোকে নতুনভাবে প্রেজেন্ট করার জন্য অনেক হারানো গান একটা জেনারেশনের কাছে আবার তাদের জায়গা ফেরত পায়। হ্যাঁ, হয়তো অনেকে এটা পছন্দ করবেন না, বাট একটা লার্জার অডিয়েন্স যারা হয়তো গানটা কখনো শুনতো না শুনে। প্লাস ইউ ক্যান অলওয়েজ গো ব্যাক টু লিসেনিং টু দি অরিজিনাল। Artcell, Arnob, Warface have been doing the same, bringing Robindra Sangeet, Nazrul and Lalon to an audience who otherwise maybe wouldn't have been exposed to it. Now comes the final question. To what extent changing the song reminds you of the old one, but tells a new story? So what many composers like Aaron Copland say is, the melody is generally what the piece is all about. From what I understand, the melody is the soul of the song. It's the main character in every story. It tells you every essential information about the song. The harmony is what gives the melody mood and environment. We can clearly see it in action in Django's and Lenny's interpretation of Bach. But what about Kandari Hushiyar? গানটা তো মোটে অরিজিনালের মতো সাউন্ড করে না, রাইট? Well, the melody which Lincoln sings is actually kind of the same. Timbre বা গাওয়ার স্টাইলটা completely different হতে পারে, but the underlying core melody is still the same, just like as it was in Hendrix's All Along the Watchtower. So that is to say, as long as we keep the melody intact and change the whole arrangement, it has still the potential to be a good cover. So Warface's Nei Proyojon might not sound the same as Indalo's one, but it has given some new meaning, hence a good cover. Whether you liked it or not is up to you. Warface's one will always be a cult classic, but probably for some, Indalo's cover of Nei Proyojon, a tribute I believe not only to Warface but Nirvana too, will also be in many's playlist.